Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we will be emulating War in the North, a Lord of the Rings fanfic game on the Retroid Pocket Flip 2. The setup in this video that I will show will also work for the Retroid Pocket 5 and the Ayn Thor Lite, as they both have the Snapdragon 865 chipset, which is identical. So in this game you are interacting with main characters, but you are not a main character. And you are playing a side story that happens while the quest to destroy the ring is occurring. You are out here as some new characters doing new things. So if you like a fresh story, but you still want to interact with the real characters in the real Middle-earth universe, then this game is for you. Because sometimes, deviating from the main story is not a bad thing. It can be really fun, and this is one of those examples of a fanfic gone right. Just ask Samwise the Great about it, he knows.
What's unique about the War of the North is that it allows you to push into an area of the world that you haven't been into, and with characters that you don't necessarily know.
Allow me to introduce my companions, Eridan of the Dunedain and Farin of Erebor.
The fellowship that we're following.
So the game actually looks better than that on Retroid, which I'll show you soon. But just for reference, we are emulating this as a PC game. So it's the PC port of the Xbox 360 game. And I'm using Gamehub 5.2.1, a PC emulator. The settings for this are mostly default. I didn't change the resolution. This game is beautiful and should be played at a pretty high resolution. The frame rate's pretty good anyways. Or was it translation params? I changed to extreme. I think it was that game preset when it first comes in. I changed that to extreme, and then I also changed the turnip driver, the GPU driver, to turnip v26.0.0 revision 2. That's the most recent up-to-date turnip driver in the system in Gamehub that I could find, so I just used that. And then DXVK version, I changed to DXVK 2.6 to match the turnip driver. I think when I first opened up the game, it was set to 2.3.1 async, so I changed that. When I first opened up the game, the turnip driver was set to 25.0.0 revision 1, so I changed that as well. But that one works. The default settings do work. This just makes it run better, more smoothly. And that's pretty much it. I didn't change anything else. So extreme on the translation params, turnip version 26, and then DXVK 2.6. That's my settings in terms of the Gamehub container. And I'm playing this on Gamehub 5.2.1. As you can see, it's made by Warner Bros. Games, which is interesting, as well as Snowblind Productions. Unfamiliar with that company. New Line Cinema, of course, Time Warner company because of Lord of the Rings. Middle-earth Enterprises, that is the company I was thinking of. So they did make this game. This is it's somewhat canon, but it's not. It's still a fanfic. But it's a true Lord of the Rings game for sure. So it has autosave. Here's the 3 characters you can play as. I've been playing only as Andriel so far, not as Farin or as Eridan. But they do have different attacks and movesets and stats and everything, and you can switch between the 3 characters as you play. You don't have to play only as one. So in the in-game settings, in the video settings section, I did change some stuff to make it run the way I want it to run, and feel free to change things the way you want it, or just copy my settings because it does run nicely. These things you can change from minimum to medium to maximum, or turn on and off. What that's going to do, if you turn everything off or to the minimum, it's going to keep it at a stable 60 FPS. And so if you want that, just turn down the details and everything down, and the game's not going to look as pretty, but it's going to run really smooth. So I have it somewhere in the middle. So if you run it off everything on maximum, it's going to have some slowdowns, some stutters. It's going to drop down to 40 to 50 FPS sometimes, in combat mostly. If you run it the way I'm doing it, kind of in the middle, medium, and some stuff off and some stuff on, it's going to run like this, which is, I think, embracing the beauty of this game and still kind of showing off what the game can do and look like and how pretty it is. But also, you're going to have really good performance. This is going to be mostly between 55 and 60 FPS. You'll see in some areas the moment you enter, if there's a lot of enemies, it might drop down to somewhere in the low 50s or high 40s, but that's very temporary and I'm okay with that. So if you swipe right from the left side of the screen, you'll get this little menu where you can turn the native rendering to force enable. I've turned HDR on and super resolution on and sharpness up to 5. This is helpful because it'll sharpen the image and the hue will kind of change to a more reddish hue. And I'll toggle that and turn it on and off later to kind of show you this amber color and without the amber color, and you can decide what you want. But you access that menu by sliding right on the very left side of the screen while in game. Something really cool about this game is that the gore is really intense and there's a lot of blood, and the limbs will actually fall off of the enemies as you're killing them. Like the orc's arm just fell off right there. That's sort of brand new tech. It's kind of like a tech demo for the Lord of the Rings games. They didn't really have that until this game. So that's really cool. And this is one of the later Xbox 360 games. It's 2011, which means it's only 2 years before the release of the Xbox One. So it's kind of a more graphically demanding and spectacular looking game, and just a more advanced Lord of the Rings experience, but you can still play this on the Retroid Pocket Flip too. And this is a really fun character to use because she has this staff that you can use as a melee weapon, right there, chopping off his leg, and you can also use it as a third-person rifle, so to speak, but it's shooting like magical beams of energy or light or something, which is a really dope dynamic because it makes you feel like you have the best of both worlds in a third-person action RPG game where you can enjoy it like a shooter, but you can also enjoy it like a sword fighting game. So throughout combat, like here, there's going to be some enemies who are shooting bows and arrows at me, and I can choose how I want to address the situation. I can, shoot them with some beams at first to kind of like stun them or whatever, and then I can dodge arrows and run up to them and face them in close quarters melee combat. And you have these kind of two attacks, which is, maybe there's more eventually that we'll learn, but there's like a quicker, lighter attack, which is that one, and then you have a heavier attack, which you do at the end. It's kind of like this combo the game is recommending you to do, which is like light attack, light attack, light attack, and then you'll see a little yellow triangle show up, and then you do a heavy attack, and then that's when you can slice off their limbs. So there's a really kind of dynamic combat that's already starting here in the very first level, and I don't know, maybe this will get even more dynamic. I haven't really played through the game before, so I don't know. So far it's really fun. It's not just simple hack and slash, there's like more to it than that, and your friends actually help you. So this little dwarf and this other elf guy, if he is an elf, I'm not sure, he kind of looks like a human, but they help you out, and they will sometimes get hurt and you will sometimes have to revive them. It's kind of like a PUBG or Battle Royale, like they'll like be crawling and you have to go like press A or hold A on them and heal them so they can stand up again. And that can actually happen to you too. So if you get hurt and you get sort of knocked down, they can come and revive you. So that's a really interesting aspect too. It's almost like a Dragon's Dogma type experience where you have like AI teammates. On the Xbox 360 version of this game, you could actually play split screen with 2 other people or 1 other person, and you guys, that's a really fun way to play it. So I don't know how to do that on the Retroid yet. I've tried to figure it out today, but I could not, because on PC there is no split screen, but you can play online with another person, and you can do that on one computer apparently if you like know a way to work around it. But it's a little bit complex, and I don't even think you can get online anymore because there's no servers hosted for this game. It's not even on Steam, so it's completely abandoned. So if there's like a private server that someone creates, or some sort of third-party project that someone creates, that maybe we could get online working again, and maybe we can get a split screen mod or something, that would be really cool. But for right now there isn't. But this game, you can tell, was kind of made for playing with the homies or playing with somebody. Like having someone revive you or just being able to tackle these enemies together would be really helpful. This game is not that easy. There's not a lot of healing potions, and your health diminishes pretty quickly, and you get kind of overwhelmed with enemies. In any given area there can be like 5 enemies on you, meleeing you, and then there can be like 3 enemies shooting you with arrows, maybe 4, and then like maybe a mage shooting spells at you. There's a lot going on. And yes, you can dodge roll, and I'm still getting into the habit of doing that again. But I don't know, yeah, it's like that's, and something happens when you level up. You see how the red and the blue bars go all the way up? That's helpful. And there is sort of like a leveling up thing with this game where you'll get skills and you can invest them into different stats. You can also unlock new attacks, very similar to a lot of games where there's that kind of progression, very Xbox 360 like. And the cutscenes are beautiful in this game. This eagle is like just gorgeous, and just look at the animations. I mean, like, this game is spectacular. Look at how the eagle talks. Look at his eyes.
Look at it, yeah.
Just look at it all. I mean, it's gorgeous, right?
Right?
And that eagle is like a character who like helps you. Like, you can summon the eagle during combat. So if you hold left trigger and right trigger and press A, the eagle comes and like takes out a few enemies. So there's really cool kind of team-based combat thing going on. Okay, so here's something interesting. If you return to Bree, which is like the town, and go to this hotel, you use the little portal, that little light portal. Or it's not a bar or something. I think it's the White Pony, like where that you first meet Aragorn in the Fellowship of the Ring. It's the same bar, actually. And if you go here, you can change your appearance somewhat. So there's an NPC by the stairs, and he looks like this.
Look at there.
This is around the area where you can change your appearance. So if you find this guy, look
at that.
kind of in front of him on the wall, and you'll see. And this is also another interesting like thing. Like, he's talking about his relationships or whatever. You can actually talk to the town people and like, give them advice or something. It's kind of interesting. But then, like, yeah, you can't go upstairs where the hotel is. But then here he says customize appearance, like on this little painting on the wall. And depending on your character, I did this with the woman character. You could do this with the male character, I think, as well. And you can change the way their face looks. Like, there's like some, I think, 5 different facial presets. You can change their eye color. You can change their hairstyle and their hair color. So, but that's a pretty cool aspect of the game. In most Lord of the Rings games, I don't think you could ever do that because these characters are canon, so they look a certain way. But these characters, it's kind of like up to you what you want them to look like. So you can like test out different styles or like different appearances depending on what you want the character to look like. And I'm pretty sure you could do it to all 3 characters. You could just switch to the other one and change them. So here we have a character with a kind of a different appearance, as you can see. And you see how she looks kind of reddish? That's the reddish hue, and we're about to turn that off. I want to show you what the game looks like without the reddish hue. So if you go into that same menu by swiping right on the left side of the screen, and then you go to, I believe the setting is called HDR. HUD is the HUD, that's how you turn off the FPS counter. Yeah, HDR, see if you turn it off, see how everything looks a little bit more pale now, including the character. So this is how we're going to play the game for the rest of the video, just to show you what that looks like. Because that's kind of interesting. HDR is like high dynamic range. So that means that there's more of a range for the brightness and shades and colors and stuff like that. And this is like just a little bit less amber. But amber is nice too. We like amber. We like the sort of warm color palette. But this is a cool way to play as well. Maybe you can play with this setting and see which one you like better, but it's cool to know that it's there. It's cool that all of this is here, let's be real. I mean, the fact that this game is running on the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, the Retroid Pocket 5, and the Ayn Thor Lite. And if you use the Ayn Thor, you know, the 8 Gen 2 version, or the Retroid Pocket 6 when it comes out, or the, you know, Odin 2 Portal, you're gonna have even better performance. Like, you can probably run this even with better performance, I'm sure. I have a friend who runs all kind of stuff on his Odin 2 Portal, and he just gets a little bit better performance than me on the Retroid Pocket Flip 2. That's just like, his name is the 412 Banner. He's got some good videos. He's got a lot of, you know, PC emulation videos of like kind of like this generation of games running on these like little cheap handhelds. Like, this is a budget handheld, and I'm running this game fine. Like, more than fine. You see how it drops down sometimes to 50, 47 in like very busy areas and like intenser animations, but like 50 to 60, I mean, like, come on, this is beautiful, this is great, this is really great. It might not be perfect, but it's great. Maybe with the 8 Gen 2, you know, chipset, it'll be perfect. You may even be able to increase the resolution and still get 60 FPS. But I mean, to me, this looks even better than those videos in the beginning, like of like Samwise talking about it. Like, that video looked terrible. I think that's how it looked on the Xbox 360. Like, damn, dude, like, this looks way better. And like PC usually does look a little bit better than the Xbox 360, and there's a little bit more customization in terms of graphics and texture detail and stuff. So take advantage of that. Play with the settings. There's a lot of things you can mess around with this game. And Gamehub offers you like the HDR and all those settings in the side menu while you're playing. You can toggle with. It's just really fun. It's really amazing that Gamehub is so. Here, let's talk about Gamehub because Gamehub has a lot of controversy. On one hand, they are an amazing emulator with a lot of development. That's what I was just about to say. But then on the other hand, they have controversy where like a lot of people on Reddit or the internet seem to not like them because they think that they're stealing their data. I have no idea if that's true. I just don't know if it's true. Yeah, like it asks for your email address and that's pretty much it. That's all I had to give it, which I mean is kind of weird. Like no other emulator application on Android asks you for your email address. Eden doesn't do that, Dolphin doesn't do that, Aether SX2 doesn't do that. Why is Gamehub doing that? We don't know, and I think that's why people are suspicious that, oh, they just want your data, or they want to steal your data. And I'm not really an expert on data theft. I don't know much about it, so I can't really tell you. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that this emulator is very impressive. It bridges some gaps that Winlator doesn't. Like this game would not run in Winlator. I could not do it. And I'm pretty well versed in Winlator. I use Winlator in a lot of different games. I've accomplished a lot of Winlator feats that I'm pretty proud of. This I cannot get to run on Winlator. And the Lord of the Rings Conquest I could not get to run on Winlator. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it on Gamehub. And it worked first try, both of them. For some reason, they need like some sort of firmware that Gamehub installs for you, and then it launches. But like Winlator doesn't install that firmware, and I don't know, it just doesn't bridge that gap. Winlator doesn't do that. Like maybe there's ways to modify Winlator to get it to bridge that gap, and it's kind of confusing because there's all these Winlator forks and stuff. But yeah, with this one it just does it for you. It does the work for you. And I guess in exchange for that it asks for your email address. I don't really know. But anyways, there is a version of Gamehub in case you don't want to give anyone your email address. It's called Gamehub Lite. So look that up and download Gamehub Lite version 4. I think that's the most current version. And I think that version does not ask for your email address, so yeah. In case that's a problem for you, just do that. And I don't know if this would run in Gamehub Lite. I haven't tried it in Gamehub Lite, but you can try it and let me know. This is just normal Gamehub. 5.2.1. I know 5.2.2 has been released, I think a few days ago, so I'll try it on that. I haven't updated it yet, but it's working great on 5.2.1. And yeah, I'm just going to show you guys some more gameplay just to prove that I am on a Retroid Pocket Flip 2 and to prove that the audio works perfectly. It just wouldn't come through on the screen record, so here you guys can hear the audio.
Beware! They have a powerful war machine! They use dark magic to shield themselves. We must close with them!
Just snorted that orca.
These creatures are more formidable than those we faced before. Agendar's minions! The creature brings fire! On your guard! There are yet more of them!
That about wraps it up for us today. Thank you for watching. and I hope that you enjoyed this awesome game on the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 and the Retroid Pocket 5. If you haven't checked out my Lord of the Rings Conquest tutorial yet, I'll add a link for it right here. Go check that out. It's another great Xbox 360 Lord of the Rings game that I'm running on the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 using Gamehub PC emulation. All settings and demo are in that video. Take care and catch you next time. Bye.